needs to get on and view it again. Okay, so again, we're going to talk a little bit about what the Clinton County Conservation District is. We're going to talk about a little bit about non-point source pollution and stormwater management. And then we'll go into our best management practices, and we'll talk about rain barrels, which is the reason we're all here today, and is a type of best management practice. So before we get into what the Conservation District is, I do have a couple people that will be helping me out with this workshop today. Like I said, I'm Toby Boyer. I'm the watershed specialist and the education coordinator, but I'll turn it over to Sarah Embick.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Embick. I'm one of the 2 resource conservationists we have at the district. My job is to distribute and review Chapter 102 ENS plans, which goes from anything from putting in a shed on your property and a small house, all the way up to permitted NPDES plans, which help control the stormwater runoff from the site through the help from engineers and other agencies. And I also do a handful of general permits, including any type of ford crossings or bridges that you may need installed to access your property or access different locations on your property. We deal with the states, the Department of Environmental Protection, with a lot of different projects, and they give us a lot of technical assistance as we go along. I also have a hand in the stormwater management side of things. If you give me a call, I can certainly come out to your property and provide any type of advice or assistance on how you should handle stormwater issues if you have them. But unfortunately, we do not have delegation to permit any of those type of things. We can simply just give you advice. So that's what we're here for. And if you feel like you may need any of those things in the future, feel free to give me a call.
Thank you, Sarah. And our contact information I will show at the end of the workshop here. And then also I would like to introduce our intern for the summer, Jack Reese. Go ahead, Jack.
Thank you, Toby. I'm Jack. I'm the newest intern here at the Clinton County Conservation District. My work is in several departments. I've helped with the rain barrels since I've been a part of the district. I have a few special projects that will involve some public education and outreach. So look forward to those in the near future.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, so what is a conservation district? Well, for those of you that don't know, we're a subdivision of state government. So every county in Pennsylvania actually has a conservation district, except for the city of Philadelphia. And so we help administer conservation work within the county, and we provide technical assistance, education, and other services to the county to kind of promote conservation and the preservation of our natural resources. Some of the programs that we administer are the Watershed Specialist Program. That's the program that I'm kind of in charge of. I do things like water quality monitoring, education and outreach, things like stream restoration. That's kind of my job here at the district. Sarah, you want to go ahead and talk about the ENS side of things? You kind of already did a little bit, but go ahead. Are you muted? Oh. I think she may be muted. Oh, she's muted. Hold on, let me see.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. I lost track of my mouse and I couldn't get it back on the screen, so I was stuck. But yeah, thanks for unmuting me. So like I said before, some of the stuff that I deal with BMP wise, which stands for best management practices, is anything from silt socks that need to be deployed at small properties and small projects up to larger pipeline projects. the planning and implementation of those things that the pipelines are required to have, such as pretty much the same thing, just a much larger scale, like silt sock, silt fences, making sure areas are temporarily and permanently stabilized to prevent runoff from exiting the site. That goes for both Chapter 102, erosion and sedimentation control, and Chapter 105, which would be permitting waterways. So BMPs are included in both of those aspects of the conservation district here. And I can provide any technical assistance that is necessary to deploy these and to make sure they're working efficiently.
Thanks, Sarah. So we administer a few other programs at the district, but for the purposes of today, that's what we're going to focus on. So what is non-point source pollution? Well, some of us that don't know it, it's pollution that occurs over a large area from many different sources. It can't really be pinpointed, as opposed to its counterpart, which is point source pollution. So an example of a point source pollution event would be, for example, you could actually look at a pipe that's maybe draining into the river, and you could see exactly where the water from that pipe comes from by tracing the pipe back, wherever it may be. So if you noticed any type of pollutants making their way into the river from that pipe, you would know exactly where to go and to tell whoever is dispensing that pollution to figure out how to stop it. On the contrary, non-point source pollution, some examples are things like construction sites, agriculture, stormwater runoff in developed areas like cities and suburbs. It's spread out over a large area, so you don't know exactly where it's coming from, and it's therefore much harder to regulate, and sometimes can be pretty tricky to prevent. And that's why we'll talk a little bit about best management practices here later to kind of remediate those effects of non-point source pollution. And so kind of going right along with non-point source pollution is the effects of stormwater and how pollution can be carried with that stormwater. So stormwater can move pollutants such as sediment, excess nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, things that can be found on ag lands, things that can be found in your soaps, chemicals, obviously road salts that we throw all over the place in the wintertime. It's got to go somewhere. So this is kind of why we need to be thinking about stormwater. We need to think about what we can do to manage that stormwater. If we don't manage it properly, these pollutants can make their way into our watersheds and have a negative effect on our natural resources. They can have negative effects on fish and streams, and negative effects on our own drinking water sources as well. So just as an example, this is a photo, an aerial photo of Lock Haven. You can kind of immediately see the impervious surfaces in this photo, the streets, things like streets, sidewalks, the parking lots, and the low cut grass fields. So what happens then when a substantial amount of rain falls on this section of the city? Well, the rain is not going to be able to infiltrate into the ground. The substance is hard. It's going to run off. It's going to take the path of least resistance, downslope, normally into our storm drains, sewer drains, and directly into our waterways. Well, when that happens, the waterways can be negatively affected. The stream will sometimes overtop its banks trying to reach out to its floodplain. And this is going to end up flooding areas where water is not really welcome, like our basements, our backyards. And so this increase in impervious surfaces that we all have to deal with because of infrastructure pretty much increases flood potential. It increases the chances that things will be impacted by the excess amount of water. And now in contrast, if we look at this aerial photo, this is in the Young Woman's Creek watershed in northern Clinton County. You can see there's no impervious surface whatsoever, and water can infiltrate right into the ground as soon as it reaches this vegetated forested area. And again, that water can infiltrate, it can be used up by those trees and shrubs that are within this aerial, and it decreases the potential for flooding. It's not going to run off as much. It's going to be able to infiltrate. So I'm going to hand it over to Sarah to talk about some best management practices.
Thank you, Toby. So on this slide here, you can see larger scale best management practices. Sometimes you can see those within small projects, but typically these types of best management practices occur when a project is engineered. So these are just some of the ways that communities can reduce stormwater pollution. Stuff like rain gardens on the far left there, retention basins, urban woodlots, parks, they all help to collect water and or stormwater and help to infiltrate it into the ground, which helps to filter out any possible pollutants. Doing this can also reduce the effects that thermal impacts can have on waterways. The effects of thermal pollution do include decreasing the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water, which is what aquatic life requires. So it does kill off, or it has the potential to kill off various species of fish and macroinvertebrates, which are important to the ecosystem. Most of these BMPs or best management practices listed here, and as all others are designed, they do give stormwater a chance to cool off before it reaches any waterways. And they can be useful in more than one way, besides reducing the thermal impact. In more urbanized areas, some of these things can also be desirable to see. They're more pleasing to the eye, besides looking at a heavily, urban area. Some people would rather see this type of stuff. So it has more than one purpose. And just a few simple solutions that you and I can do, or the precautions we can take to help conserve water and to prevent any type of destructive stormwater from reaching our waterways, is just a few things. You can do stuff like plant trees, go as far as washing your car on your lawn instead of on your driveway. And you can also, instead of mowing your grass at a lower cut, you can leave it a little longer. I know sometimes that's not desirable, but they do recommend leaving grass at least 4 inches to help filtrate that water a little bit more. And you can limit your water usage as well by, of course, turning off the faucet when you brush your teeth, turn off the shower when you're in the middle of shampooing your hair, or you can fix any leaks that you find in the house. That also helps preserve just a little bit of water, but a little goes a long way. So.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sure.
So let's talk about rain barrels now. It's the reason why we're all here on this workshop. So we'll get right into it. So what is a rain barrel? Well, it's basically just a container that collects and stores water from your roof. It takes the water that's coming off your roof and channels it from your downspouts, and basically then gives you a container where you can use that water to water your grass, your gardens, things like house plants, or maybe you could even wash your car with it. They're pretty much really great tools that allow any homeowner to conserve water. And it will definitely eventually end up, if you utilize it, it'll end up saving you some money on your water bills at home. So as a homeowner, using a rain barrel as a BMP may not really seem like you're doing a whole lot. It's just 55 gallons of water, right? But think about all the times that you'll be able to use it and utilize the water within it. You're helping to keep pollutants out of the waterway. You're reducing runoff to any paved surfaces or, pretty much impervious surfaces around your house. And you're taking that water and using it and putting it to good use. So it's important to note, rain barrels do fill up very quickly. If you take like an average rainfall event of 1 inch in a 24-hour period, that can produce 700 gallons of water from a typical house roof. And that'll fill up your 55-gallon barrel quite fast. So let's talk how we built our rain barrels. There's plenty of different ways to do it. I wanted to go over this budget though that the district used when we were utilizing our grant funding to figure out how to build a rain barrel. So you can see the descriptions and all the Lowe's item numbers. Basically, we used a 1/2-inch boiler drain for the spigot. Cost per unit was around $6.74. The atrium grate is that top component that allows water to filter into your rain barrel. And that was $7.99 at Lowe's. I think I got them a little bit cheaper on Amazon for like $6.40 some odd cents. You'll need a plastic 1 1/4 inch insert as your overflow receptacle. That's gonna just allow, if you have too much water coming out and you fill up your barrel too quick, that's just for any type of overflow that comes out. The sediment sock keeps mosquitoes out. It keeps any junk from your spouting from getting into your rain barrel. So you kind of put that around your atrium grate. We'll show you how to do that in a second. And obviously the barrels. Sediment sock, the unit I used was 100 foot. I use about 2 feet per barrel. So you can buy much less sediment sock and it'll be a lot cheaper. And then obviously the rain barrel. We got ours from Route 104 barrels, I believe just below Sealands Grove. And we got a few barrels at $10, a few barrels at $15. All the barrels that we use are food grade, so there was never any chemicals in them. They only carried lemonade and fruit punch. So I'm going to let Jack explain how to assemble a rain barrel because he did a lot of the legwork actually doing that so far. So go ahead, Jack.
Great, thank you, Toby. So during the construction process of building your rain barrel, you're just going to start with an average 55-gallon drum wherever you can get one from. One of the first processes you're going to do is you're going to take that atrium grate and you're going to set that on top of your rain barrel to indicate where you want your downspouts to flow water into your barrel from, and trace around it with a marker so that you know. So that stands out. And once you do that, you're going to take your drill and you're going to go along the side of the circle that you've just made and just puncture one hole in that line. That serves as the starting point for the next phase, which is where you would take your saw and you're just going to cut the whole way around that circle that you've made in the top of your rain barrel. Once that's done and you remove the circular piece of plastic from your barrel, you're going to take that about 2 foot of silt sock. You're going to make a knot into one end of it. This keeps any debris or mosquitoes from passing through the grate into the barrel itself. Once you do that, you're going to take your atrium grate, you're going to place it inside of your silt sock that you've just finished knotting. And if you have any excess on the top of your atrium grate, a good practice that you can do is to fold the excess back onto the atrium grate itself. This helps for stability and also as an added layer of protection from debris or mosquitoes or any other sort of blockage that might occur. So once you have that done, you're gonna put your rain barrel on its side, and a few inches up from the bottom is where you're gonna want to drill another hole, and this is where your spigot is going to be placed.
And this hole will be a 1/2 inch hole. This is where the spigot, like Jack said, is going to be screwed into.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
And like I said, you're gonna want to do it a couple inches up. That way there's enough room that you can access it. When you're installing your spigot, you're gonna want to take some thread tape and just line the rim of the spigot with it. This helps it to be a more secure, a secure bond. Make sure leakage does not occur. And that'll just screw in to the bottom where the hole that you've just cut. And once you have that secure, you're going to go up to the other end of your rain barrel toward the top. And a few inches from the top is where you're going to place your overflow spout.
And this, the overflow is going to be 1 1/4 inch hole.
Yep, correct. Once again, you're going to use some tape, just line the rim of your insert, make sure it fits well and it doesn't leak. And you'll just screw that into the top. Make sure that you have a few inches for room. And once you have that, you have your assembled rain barrel ready for use.
Thank you, Jack. That was a great explanation. I'm going to move over to the video that we did at the Conservation District here on how to actually install a rain barrel. We got some rain barrels that were painted by Keystone Central, and so we were able to install them here on our Learning Center. Hi, my name is Toby Boyer. I'm the watershed specialist here at the Clinton County Conservation District, and today I'm going to show you how to install a rain barrel. So, like most homes, your rain barrel is not going to fit perfectly right up against your house, your shed, garage, wherever you're putting it. So you might have to actually take apart your downspout and use some kind of elbow to fit your rain barrel into the spot. So what we're going to do today is we're going to figure out how we need to fit our rain barrel onto our Learning Center rain spouts here. So again, the circular barrel is kind of bulky and large. It doesn't really fit that well up against the building here. So we're going to have to cut our rain spouts and put in a plastic elbow. If you're more particular, you might want to measure this out a little bit more, but today I kind of just eyeballed where I think the downspout is going to need to be. We'll throw our rain barrel up against the building. So you put your spouting down into your rain barrel catchment here, and you're just going to eyeball where exactly that your plastic elbow is going to fit on here. And from there, you're going to make a cut with a hacksaw. come right through. I pre-made a little cut here. So now you can see that we've cut our rain spouting out. We're gonna fit our rain barrel here underneath until we have a good fit with our plastic elbow. We're gonna set our plastic elbow as far down into the catchment as we can. We'll use the flexibility of the elbow to cover our spouting. Covered on the outside so we're catching everything. Fit it nice and snug up against your spouting, and it'll lay really nicely right there in the rain barrel. So now we can shimmy it in as we need, and we have an easy way to collect water coming off of the roof. Okay, so last tip. Before it gets cold outside and you don't want anything in your barrel to freeze, it's simple enough just to pull your elbow right off your downspouts. Take apart the parts that collect the water in your rain barrel. Then you can just take your rain barrel and store it in your shed or store it inside where you don't have to worry about it freezing up over the winter time. Okay. Stop that. We're going to go back to our.
Okay, guys, today I'm going to show you how to put in a
Oh.
bulkhead unit onto a barrel that still has a top in it. Bulkhead union or a bulkhead joint.
Whoops, the other video started playing. All right. Sorry about that. Get back to our PowerPoint here. Okay. So thanks everybody for attending. If there's any questions, you can go ahead and either type them in the chat now, or you can just unmute and let us know. Otherwise, workshop or rain barrel pickups will be this Friday. You have to complete that evaluation form to pick up your rain barrel. We have the evaluation forms here at the district if you'd like to just go ahead and fill them out when you get here. But they are also uploaded onto the Clinton County Conservation District website. And as you can see, just www.clintoncountypa.com/departments/conservation district. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll find the rain barrel workshop paragraph, and it'll have the evaluation form right there. You just click on it and print it off. So again, thanks everybody for attending. We'll take any questions at this time. Thank you. If nobody has any questions, again, head over to our website. Always feel free to email me back or give us a call here. I'd be happy to answer anything that's not answered tonight. Hold on one second. Let's see here. So we have a couple questions. What do you do to the downspout in winter? So you can do a couple things actually. So Sarah, you have a rain barrel at your house. What do you guys do with it in the winter? You just leave it up?
In the winter with my rain barrel, I actually take it, well, I didn't this year actually, but typically I take it in the garage. I do disconnect it. Mine is an open top, so it doesn't have the real small connections. Bugs can get in it real easy, but I just unhook my downspout and I just put it underneath of it and it just catches all the rain from the downspout. And once I have a full barrel, I I go back out and I reconnect it. So mine's a little more hassle than these ones would be. I guess periodically, in the fall though, I would recommend taking them inside. I have left mine out in the winter, simply because they're a little funny to hold and a little hard to handle. So in the winter, I have in the past, I've tipped them over, especially mine being a open top. I've just tipped them over and left them in the yard next to the house. Being that these have closed tops, I don't know if I would quite recommend that for these, just in case the all of the, I guess, piping that goes into it. I just wouldn't want any of that to crack or freeze, just to, I guess, save your rain barrel from breaking. I don't really know. I'm sure they're pretty durable, but I wouldn't want to take any chances. So to be quite honest, I have left mine out in the winter, and it hasn't seemed to have done any damage yet. But being that these are closed, mostly encased, rain barrels, I don't know if I would recommend that for those as well.
Yeah, my recommendation would be probably just to get like a connector and connect your other piece back to it that you originally cut off. Or there's a couple different like plastic, longer plastic connectors that'll run the length of the rest of your, or whatever you had cut off, to run the water back out like it normally would away from your house. Next question, can they be filled out and submitted online? No, we don't currently have a way to actually submit them online, but if you just wanted to, I don't know if you had like PDF word filler or something, if you wanted to grab it and fill it out, and then email it to me, that's totally fine. You can we have them here at the district if you don't have a printer or anything. So when you come to pick your barrel up, you just fill it out when you get here and it's totally fine. It doesn't take long, it's just a few questions. So. Address is 45 Cooperation Lane, Mill Hall, PA. If you're coming, pretty much from the Lamar exit getting off of 80, we're like a mile headed toward, Mill Hall. We're right by Daughter's Equipment is where our office is.
With this class, do we get the rain barrel and we are supposed to buy all the other supplies for it? I'm sorry, I missed it in the beginning.
No. Your rain barrels are pre-built. You have all the supplies for them and they're already put together for you. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. You just have to fill out that evaluation form and you can come pick her up.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your attendance tonight. Look forward to handing the rain barrel to you on Friday. Again, I forgot to mention, if you can't pick them up on Friday, I totally understand. Just send me an email or give me a call and we will, figure out a time for you to come pick them up. We're here from 8 to 5 most days. So we'll work that out with you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Have a good evening.